Sheffield Wednesday 0, Pompey 1. Yeah. We really needed that, and we got it. We got what we really needed, and we deserved what we got. Don't you think? I mean, we played a really professional game. It's good to see Pompey being a bit cynical, frankly, and winning a game like that and screwing 3 points out of a team that are no great shakes, but they've still got to be beaten. And our team beat them. And I think they shaded it as well, which is always good considering you're playing away from home. And, once again, they're no great shakes because of the circumstances they're in. And we sympathise particularly with their fans for the situation that they're in, rotten owners. We sympathise with that. But we needed the 3 points, and we got the 3 points. And I thought we got the 3 points actually more consummately than the game kind of ebbed and flowed, because they had their chances. There were moments when we had our hearts, maybe not in our mouths, but halfway up the esophagus, because Bannon is... let's talk about that for a second. There were 2 games of football going on out there. One was Sheffield Wednesday versus Portsmouth. The other was Bannon versus Chaplin. And because it had taken my eye when it happened at Fratton Park that Bannon had been detailed to negate Chaplin, I was watching this game in part to see whether he'd been given the same job, or indeed whether Chaplin had been given the reverse job of looking after Bannon and preventing him from creating anything or even actually doing anything with the ball, sticking it in the back of the net is what I'm talking about, stopping him scoring. And the two of them were often to be seen no more than 10 yards apart. When Sheffield Wednesday were building, Chaplin seemed to be around Bannon, and when we were building, Bannon seemed to be around Chaplin. On the whole, it was 50-50. There were occasions when Bannon let Chaplin go. They must have been chatting about it. There was a lot of chat going on out there. I don't know if you noticed, but at half-time, coming off, Regan Poole and Bannon had a really long professional conversation. They were talking about something that had just happened before the half-time whistle went, which I think was a possible foul on a goalkeeper or something, and the referee blew up to protect the goalkeeper, and they were chatting away about it coming off the pitch, the two of them, talking about, well, it's the goalkeeper, they're always protected. Yes, but they shouldn't always be protected. Sometimes it's their mistake. That was really interesting, because these are ultimately, most of them, professional footballers. It's their job, and they cherish their job, and they want their job to be, they want to be able to execute their job to the best of their ability. So that was one little game that was going on. The other game that was going on was ALLI down the left. Now, do you agree with me? Was he not our man of the match by a distance? He was doing everything right. Oh, no, not everything right. Otherwise, he'd have scored a goal every time he got the ball. But he was everywhere. He was fast. He was strong. He was determined. He was skillful. He was getting past people. And he was putting in valuable assists. And he was making telling passes. If he can keep it up, please keep it up. Because when Segacic arrived, all full of adrenaline, playing for a new club, trying to win over a new set of fans, he was just a little bit better as a player, more effective as a player than he turned into after 4 or 5 games of kind of going, oh, blimey, is it Wednesday? Are we playing again? Some of the Australians have hinted that they're playing too much football, and you can get jaded as well as tired. And then Yang arrived, and he did the same thing. He scored 2 goals in his first 3 games, or 4 games, was it? And we thought to ourselves, whoa, the Fratton End came up with a song for him. Yang will tear you apart again, which was brilliant. Except he went off the boil slightly. The adrenaline soaked away into his tissue from his nerves, and he wasn't quite as effective. He wasn't quite as destructive. And he didn't put himself about quite so much. Why? Again, is he not used to playing 2 games a week in, week out, which is what is asked of Pompey players in the Championship, which is, frantic and aggressive and it's bodily, isn't it? It's a bodily game in the Championship. So we just hope, don't we? And we've got good reason to be hopeful that ALLI can keep that up going down the left. Wow, what a prospect. And does that mean that Josh Murphy is looking over his shoulder? No, of course not, because the way he serves it up to Colby Bishop, ALLI, for all his prowess and promise, it's going to be a while before he can dish it up to Bishop in the way that Murphs does. And Bishop is back on song. He didn't score, but he was looking very potent. There was a moment towards the end of the game, 5 or 6 minutes before the end of the final whistle, when we had a promising opportunity and a good ball was struck across the face towards where Bishop was leading the line, across the face of the goal, and it got blocked quite early on. But Bishop felt that ball was telling, and if it had got to him, and it would have got to him if it hadn't been blocked where it was, he really fancied his chances, and he threw his arms up in the air in annoyance and slapped his thighs. So he's chomping at the bit again, and that's, of course, that is good news for us. Who was our man of the match then after ALLI went off? I put it to you, it was the man who came on. It was the Derby hero, the Derby legend. The fans were astonished that Derby fans were astonished that they let him go, as they did to us, because he is an influencer. As John Messino likes to say, he affects the game. He has a physical presence. I saw him do one particular thing that it stank of class. The ball was falling to him, coming to him. I can't remember whether it was just a 50-50 that bounced, second ball, and he was picking it up, or whether somebody actually passed it to him and somebody was closing him down. And he did a thing that you don't see very often, and when it works, it's delicious. He dummied a pass. He looked up to his right, and then without looking to his left, he passed it to a Pompey player on his left. Brilliant. That is class. If you can do that, if you know at all times on the pitch where you would pass the ball, if it came to you at any given moment, accidentally even, and you know where you're going to pass it, and you so want the other team not to close down the person you want to pass it to, then you dummy that you're looking elsewhere. A lot of football is played with eye movement, people don't realise. And he did that beautifully, and it worked. He looked to his right, held his head to the right, and then flicked it to his left, and the pass was completed successfully. So a midfield of him and Marlon Pack. The last 20 minutes of a game where we just need to hold it with Pack and Adams together in front of the back four. And didn't the back four play well? Whoever was there, because they chopped and changed a little bit. Isn't it great to have Ogilvy back? Doesn't he influence the team in more ways than just what he does with the ball and winning the ball? There's something about having Connor Ogilvy in your side in a championship match that just produces a better game from so many people. Goodness knows how or why. He's just an influential character. You want to play a strong game if you've got Connor Ogilvy in your side and he's watching you, and you know he's watching you, and you want to do well. You want him to notice that you're playing a good game. Just going to have a swig. Got 3/4 of a bottle of Peroni, if you'll forgive me. But I deserve it because... No, I don't deserve it. I don't know why I said I deserve it. Pompey deserve it. I hope they're able to smuggle a couple of tinnies onto the coach. I'm talking to you 5 minutes after the final whistle, so the achievement is still fresh. Last time I looked, Norwich were winning, which is annoying. Blackburn got stuffed, which is the opposite. I think Oxford were drawing. Can't quite remember. I don't spend the game on my phone tracking other scores. We're not anywhere near that point in the season where if you're hunting for promotion or you're fighting relegation, you're just as bothered about games that are taking place elsewhere as the game that you're watching. But I think we're better off this weekend than we were going into it so far. And then, of course, we've got to regroup because we've got to try and go and get something at Watford. I just want to play you, to finish, I just want to play you a little clip from Steve Bones' always excellent piece that he does for Pompey Sound. Now, what have I done with it? It's on my machine here somewhere. Where is it? Bear with me. Steve Bone. It's him predicting the score. And he gets the prediction absolutely spot on. Hold on. I'll play it from there. Here we go.
Go for a squeaky 1-0 win
at
Hillsborough.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get the job done. Don't think it'll be convincing or pretty. Doesn't matter, does it?
It's such a good prediction. What happened is I said to him, what about, dare I ask you for your prediction for Sheffield Wednesday? This was last Thursday, 2 days before the game.
I'm going to go for a squeaky 1-0 win at Hillsborough. I think we're going to get the job done. Don't think it'll be convincing or pretty. Doesn't matter, does it?
He gets the result right so often, and he also gets the score right so often. And I'm definitely going to be having an affordable fiver on Steve Bones' correct score predictions for the rest of the season. I hope you're as happy as I am, Pompey fan. Bless you for downloading the podcast and listening to Pompey Sound. And take care and talk soon.